ستبدأ الآن جلسة صادرات المسلسلات المدبلجة العالمية، الفرص والتحديات. مدير الجلسة فادي إسماعيل، منتج ومؤسس شركة DKL ستوديو. المتحدثون كريم ريتورنا، الرئيس التنفيذي لشركة ميديا هاب، هاس ريتوزجان، رئيسة شركة انترميديا، لينا ماتا، مدير شاهد MBC2 MBC4 MBC ماكس وMBC منوعات في مجموعة MBC، ميروسلاف رادوفيتش، مخرج منطقة الشرق الأوسط وشمال أفريقيا وأفريقيا الوكالة العالمية.
Katılımcı rekoru. Katılımcı rekoru. Testing, testing. صوت مسموع؟ Okay.
سامعيننا؟
Assalamu alaikum. The introduction for all of us have been done, so we can dive in immediately. Let's have an exciting discussion. Let's not have long answers, so we can have it more dynamic, and our viewers will enjoy, hopefully, a different kind of session whereby, although most of my guests are from Turkey, but the main essence of why do we have this session is Arabic content and not Turkish content and not Korean content, but we will talk about them a lot. So this is an interesting way to learn from those who have a track record of success, something that we don't usually do in sessions. We talk about Turkish content and dubbed content in general, and how it managed to conquer the world in few years, starting from the Middle East. For Turkey, there's the Korean, the Indian, but we don't usually talk what does that mean to us as producers, directors, actors, as the industry that is witnessing its golden age now. Some numbers, and if I missed $100 million here and there, excuse me. It is said that the Turkish exports per year of drama is around $500 to $600 million last year. It is said that the Indian export of content, mainly films, Indians are not known for series, but for films, it's almost the same number. And finally, the Korean has made it, if the sources I consulted are accurate, more towards the 1 billion range. It doesn't matter if I missed 100 or 200 million. What is the reason why we are here is to learn from others. We, as the Arab content parties who are interested in showing, in witnessing more growth to it, from Saudi Arabia, from where in few years there was a revolution in terms of quantity and quality of content, series and films. Let's start. Turkish content, ladies and gentlemen, has been a success story and continues to be. And I heard that even last year, it was the best year for Turkish content in the Middle East in terms of sales for the last few years. So it was a good year for Turkish series in this part of the world. Why is it so? What is it? It's the most easy question and the most difficult question. Why? And I will give one possible answer, and I need you to comment on it. Is it simply, as one main reason, not the only reason, that the cost of acquiring, buying Turkish content is still much cheaper than producing Arabic content? Is it And this question is all of you. I would love to hear answers. Last of which should be Lina, NBC, who is consuming and producing both. Let's start with Miroslavic.
Hi, Fadi. Hi, everyone. First of all, it's a big pleasure to be in Riyadh again, my second time after 2023, and I see huge improvement and huge changes in a better way. So again, pleasure to be here and share stage with you. Fadi, there are several reasons, I think, why Turkish content is so popular in the Middle East. I think one of the biggest or most important reasons, cultural similarities between Turkey and Middle East, human values, family values. So I think these are the three major components why Turkish content is so popular in the Middle East. When we come to the production stage, I mean, Global Agency is not a production company, so maybe Emrah and Hasrat can give a more proper answer, but I believe that Turkish know-how is something unique in the world. For people who are not involved that much into production, we have in Turkey shooting actually movies, because one original episode in Turkey is 120 minutes plus within 1 week. That's something what is amazing. That's something what is unique in the world, I would say. And this is something connected to your major topic, how to learn from Turkey and how to make Arabic content equally popular or similar popular to Turkish content. I think it's actually learning the know-how, producing not Turkish series already broadcasted in the Middle East, but focusing mainly on Arabic originals. I hope in the further discussion I will have more opportunity to explain this thesis, but this is for the beginning and opening the stage, maybe giving a chance to Emrah to add some insights.
Please.
My turn. It's working? Okay. So you made it easy for me, I guess. I think, about Turkish content, the advantageous side is that this type of content is like bread and butter. So it can be consumed in a wide range of territories and among a wide range of populations. That was, of course, the key success. The Turkish media ecosystem is a quite, despite all the problems, of course, a quite healthy ecosystem, a very competitive ecosystem for the broadcasters, for the producers. Therefore, we have a lot of products that we produce throughout the whole year. And thanks to that competition, the products that we produce travel all around the world. That really makes our lives, from the distribution perspective, very easy. Regarding the production side of it, yes, we are a very young production company. We just started, for example, shooting our second show a couple of weeks ago. And what we do, for example, as my company, we produce not only for Turkish TVs, but mainly for the global landscape. This is also what Intermedia is also successfully doing in the market, apart from...
Which deserves some further discussion, because there is a model now where you produce with a plan that what you produce is for international market, not for your own. That's where I think the Turkish thinking now, for all sorts of reasons, is going, or at least is establishing itself. We will talk more about it, but just to continue the same question.
Hi, this is Hasret from Intermedia. Thank you, Fadi, for the invites. It's all a pleasure to be in Riyadh. We're in Jeddah in December, and it's always a pleasure to be in Saudi Arabia. I think it's a growing market, and I know that there's a lot of investment to make the Arabic content as popular or even more popular than what we have with the Turkish at the moment. Going back to your question, I wouldn't say more of the cost of production, although that probably has a base. It's about the way we do it. I think with the Turkish, we do act on instinct. So we don't have a finished script, and we don't go on air, we don't go into production with a finished script. We go on into production with only a few episodes written, and then whilst it's on air, we produce and we divert the script depending on how the viewers are acting on the screen. So we do follow the rating system of every 15 minutes on who is watching, and it's challenging because once you notice that one specific actor or one specific storyline is working, the writers follow in that direction. And I think that's what gives the Turkish DNA the DNA.
Before we listen to Lina, I want to argue one thing about this. If that is the way for content to be captivating, to be appealing, why is it that the rate of failure in rating in Turkey is getting higher? More series are not reaching high ratings, despite what you are just explaining, which is something we don't have in the Arab world. We film, everything has been written already, or at least most of it.
Correct. I think one important thing is going back 2005 when Turkish content became the peak and then continued up until 2015, 2016 was, I think, the peakest moment. We are at a drop at the moment simply because what currently works well in Turkey doesn't necessarily work well in the international market. This is why...
This is a new development?
Well, this is the past 2 years, I'd say. Yeah. We're doing it... So one of the things is we did, and we're trialing a lot of Korean remakes in Turkey. And unfortunately, it's got to a point where it works for the length of the Korean remake. Then once Turkish writers start to write on their own, it starts to drop. So they cannot continue what has been already broadcast and aired through Korean.
This is something I would love to ask about, because Turkish content, the series is more than 100 TV hours. Korean is maybe 16, 24, up to 30 maximum. Arab content is more like the Turkish, like the Korean, more than Turkish, but we'll talk about it. Lina, how do you see it?
No, I want to build on what you said. They follow the model of soaps in the States, where it's where the plot line is indicated by the feedback of the audience, and if audiences like a character or they hate a storyline, it is adjusted accordingly. And then if it doesn't work, you just you stop. So we never have that. So in terms of cost, obviously, if you're acquiring something, it's going to cost you less than producing it. So in the case of Turkish, it's not cheap, but we have output deals with 3 of the top producers. And part of the output deal is that they, not only are we acquiring their content, but we are also acquiring scripted formats that they produce for us. And then we are asking them to bring their expertise to Saudi Arabia and produce original Saudi series for us in Saudi.
We will have to discuss dubbing series as the way forward for travelability of Arab content, but let's wait for one more point to discuss before we move to that. If I want to deal with numbers, correct me if I'm wrong, NBC has 7 Turkish series per year going on the whole year. OSN, if I got it right, has 6 series for the whole year. View in the Middle East has, I don't know per year, but I know that they only started getting series 2 years or 2 years and a half ago, and they have a total of 30 series on their platform. So there is, maybe if we add the total of these hours on only 3 channels or platforms, the total is more than 2,000 hours per year. Now compare them to the Arabic. If I got my mathematics right, between Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Syria, Lebanon, there is, Hiba, can you confirm, no less than 2,000 episodes or TV hours per year of Arabic content. So content in terms of what is available for the Arab viewers, quantity-wise, it's very close. I need an answer from you about the quality. You watch Arabic content now. Now, I'm not talking about 10, 15 years ago when the Turkish content came to dominate. Things have changed. How do you look at Arabic content in terms of quality, even if you don't understand the language? Because when I first looked at Turkish series 10, 15 years ago, I did not understand the language, but I knew it is similar to us and it will work. How do you feel about Arabic content from your perspective? Before we talk about exporting them, do you think they are of a quality that is exportable? Emre, I think we were talking about this 2 weeks ago. You were watching something on one of the TV station, and you said something interesting I didn't expect.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I was watching one of the top channels that was on prime time, and I told you that if you put it on mute, you don't understand if it's in Turkish or Arabic or any other similar territories. And from that perspective, I think it's a great advantage for Arabic content, because from a Turkish perspective, from a distributor perspective, somehow it confirms that it can travel all around the world. So this is a big upside for the Arabic content producers, right holders. Yeah, that's important.
Do you share the same feeling?
Yes, I believe I'm not following so frequently the Arabic content, but what I've seen, there is definitely quality. It's a good program. And I really believe that Arabic content can travel worldwide. Maybe not everywhere in the world. Also, Turkish content is not traveling everywhere. There are certain regions Turkish content is working very well. Some regions, North America, West Europe, it's not working at all. So, and there are some reasons, I think, and maybe
which we
some...
will discuss if you... I'm going to suggest what are the strategies to export content and to where. So if you leave that point...
Yes, yes. So going back to the subject, I remember 5-6 years ago in Dubai, it was one of the similar conferences, and I heard that Saudi Arabia is planning to invest 65 billions in 5 or 6 years investing plan into TV industry. And I shocked. I couldn't believe it. And I said, 650 millions or 65 billions? And they said, no, 65 billions. And I said, wow, that's something what is going to change everything in the world. So we are witnessing now that the business is shifting here. production is shifting here, and looking from outside perspective, I see that Arabic content is right now where Turkish content used to be in maybe 2006, 2005. Remembering those days, Turkish content and export was valued at 10 millions. And what I think you are more focusing to satisfy internal appetites. And saying that, what I see, the most important grid is actually Ramadan. So you focus on Ramadan, and your series are 30 episodes, which is, from the international perspective, I would say not enough.
Can I argue? I wanted to hear Hassan, but I want to argue with this point.
Yes.
Korean is 16 and 20 and 25 episodes, and it's working worldwide. Why should any other quality premium products not work internationally? Why would it only be the long 100 episode that the Turkish has been promoting all over the world, that the telenovela of Latin America has, before the Turkish, exported to the whole world? But now Korea in a few years was able to do the impossible task of maybe becoming so advanced into it. Why is only the 30 model, why the 30 episode model is problematic internationally?
I won't say it's problematic, but the content is different, I would say. What Koreans are providing, it's and the target groups are different for Korean and Turkish. So also the cultural differences between Turkey and Koreans are bigger. The TV markets are different. So in Turkey, there is a need for long-running series.
Sure.
And there is a need to have a prime time slot 120 minutes plus.
Sure.
So this is something what is unique in the world. By chance, it's appealing in many places in the world, and the audience is consuming and love it. In the beginning of my explanation, I said there are cultural similarities between Turkey and Middle East. So this is something I think not questionable. And following this with some original stories and extending the number, little by little, number of episodes, and focusing to the certain territories, opening the gate for Arabic content, I think Arabic content having a chance. I mean, sales is not...
You're saying that Turkish content somehow has paved the way for maybe now Arabic content to be able to reach out internationally. Is this, did I understand it right?
Yes. I mean, from my point of view, Arabic content, okay, so sales is not coming just like that. I believe that, you know, behind the sales stands investment. Investment in terms of money, investment in terms of building the sales team, investment of market fragmentation, investment, any kind of investment. So my counter question to you is, did you invest into sales too much or enough?
You have a very golden question that I'm not supposed to answer, I'm supposed to ask, but but this is a very serious question, and I think this is one of the weaknesses. You can plan and dream about exports, but if you don't have the know-how, if you don't have the... I will leave it till another question, because that was something that needed a little bit more detail. But Hasrat, do you agree with everything you heard from your colleagues from Turkey about what the Turkish content has done up till now, and where does that leave the Arab content?
Yes and no. So I do think especially Lebanese, Egyptian and Syrian content has the potential to travel because it's very similar. As Emrah said, if you was to watch it on mute, you could assume that it's a Turkish. But on the other hand, as Miroslav mentioned, it is a lot of investment. It took us 5-6 years in going and attending markets in Latin America with no sales. But then eventually we opened the market and we got out there. When it comes to number of episodes, obviously the Turkish is very well known for its not so telenovela style, but I'm going to give it in brackets as the telenovela style, so the long ongoing ones. But we do now have mini-series that range between 6 episodes to 13. We do have movies as well. But what's well known in the international market is the long ongoing Turkish series. That's what we've become well known of, and that's what's become the hot topic trend. But those trends are moving to the shorter series, with Netflix doing more Turkish originals, Amazon Prime and HBO doing more Turkish originals is enabling the mini Turkish series to get out there as well. And what I'm trying to get at is, although Arabic content at the moment is 30 episodes, if it can market itself as 30, and if it could potentially get itself out there as 30, and if the international markets know that it's only going to be 30 episodes and it's going to do well, then it does have the potential. It doesn't necessarily have to be as long as the Turkish.
Lina, this is very interesting, but if you can put it in perspective, because, for example, NBC, the biggest media group in the area, has lots of premium Arabic content which is out of Ramadan and 10 episodes. Is this now a factor that, because it is short, faster pace, higher quality, because there's higher investment, you rely on it as much as Ramadan, but even more because you spread it all over the year, and this is a content that is available supposedly for international markets, especially with the genre that Hasrat was talking about?
Like 6 questions in one. Okay, I think it's a misnomer to basically say Arabic drama, because Arabic drama is Saudi drama, it's Gulf drama,
True.
It's Egyptian drama, it's Lebanese drama, it's Pan-Arab drama, it's the adaptations. So there's, and each of those can range in episode count from 6 episodes all the way up to 90. So I don't think the episode count is the issue, I think the story is the issue. I think if a story leads itself to 8 episodes, then it's an 8-episode story. If it leads itself to 90 episodes, then it's a 90-episode story. The Turks have been great about taking, for instance, Mrs. Foster, which was 2 seasons of 6 episodes each, and turning it into, I think, a 2-season, 90-episode drama. In terms of Arabic, Haiba is one of the first Arabic formats that has been sold to the Turks. We have now been working with our Turkish partners to ask them to distribute our scripted formats. We have, I mean, it's not as robust. I think what Hasrat is saying is correct. You have to educate the market about your programming. We've managed to sell to the Middle East, to Egypt, to Lebanon, and we've been selling to some Latin American territories. So it's the beginning. I think in terms of production values, our screen looks great. I think it's comparable to anything international. I think our actors' skills have improved tremendously. So it's not an issue of acting or production values. I think storytelling still remains weak. The Saudi market is a very new market. A lot is being invested in storytelling techniques. There's workshops that are being held with Americans, with Brits, with Koreans, with Turks to help improve the storytelling technique. I think the Turks have cracked cliffhangers and the art of keeping you engaged. One of the mistakes that were done by some of the distributors that we worked with and production companies that we worked with is when they saw that Netflix has become very popular with 10 and 12 episodes and 15 episodes, they took their 30 episode and made it 15. but they didn't change the storytelling. They just made it in 15 episodes with all the same mistakes that we had in the 30 episodes. So I think it's a bit more sophisticated a question than...
I would like to stay with you. If you are putting on NBC channels and Arab consumers are consuming lots of dubbed material, Korean, even American series. If I'm looking at if I am somebody in Brazil or Thailand or Indonesia, if I'm looking at Arab content or Turkish content, I'm looking at it dubbed. So I don't know the original language unless we are showing the Burj in Riyadh or in Dubai or wherever. We will not distinguish if this is Turkish or this is Arabic. Yes, we are having now more than ever some long Arabic series, the 90 episodes that have been sold quite wonderfully by our Turkish friends. But there are, as I was saying, tens of series that are short. If it was dubbed professionally, do you think that it could be sold as content? Because the 10 episodes have more quality because it's shorter and faster pace and maybe the cost per episode is higher. Can NBC or other channels that have such, the Saudi television have, everybody's having short series now. Can it go internationally? Or is the problem, again, the know-how, the team who will distribute, the investment in promoting it? Where's the problem, Lina?
I think
7 questions in one question. Yeah.
It needs hours of answers.
Yeah, I don't know where to start. Ask me one. I don't know that you can necessarily dub a Saudi series and have people mistake it for something else. I think the way people are dressed is very unique. I think, for instance, the Korean dramas, again, very unique in terms of, but also the audiences that watch Korean drama. We had complaints from the people who watch Korean drama, and we've been now showing it in its original language with subtitles. If you go on Shahid, you have the option of choosing which, if you want it subtitled or this. And interestingly, and that's not what you're asking, but interestingly, Turkish has always been dubbed into Syrian. And the Lebanese are now doing an experiment of dubbing it into Lebanese, which is amazingly popular and working very successfully for them. So I don't know that short series are better than long series. Mm-hmm. I think some stories are better than other stories. You need to. I don't know what the magic thing is that's going to take a story and make it international. I think there's an appetite out there for more, before it used to be a very US-centric market or a very British or French, European-centric market. I think the world, with the platforms, the platforms have opened people's eyes to stories from around the world, and stories that would never have seen the light of day are now becoming, the #1 on Netflix because, whatever. Whether it's social media or the platforms, something can go virally on TikTok and you would never have heard of it, and all of a sudden it becomes the most popular series. So I don't know what it is that's going to be the tipping point, but it's a whole bunch of different elements that could come to play to take that story from here to there. But we're there. The investment, my last point is that the investment in Arabic drama has dramatically increased. And that's also helped the production values go from where they used to be maybe 7-8 years ago to where they are now.
But then, while there is a lot of expectation that content will travel and therefore there will be more revenue streams internationally, Hasrat, you said that for the first few years you were marketing content before you were able to sell them.
Yes, correct.
Now there are few attempts to sell Arabic content, and the few that has made it are sold for peanuts. Like what the Turkish was sold peanuts 10 years ago, the hour was $1,000. So,
And it went up to how much?
in a way, I'm trying to say that we shouldn't have expectation that magically, even if some series hit the jackpot in terms of success, to reach out internationally. Should we expect good amount of revenue, or this will take what it takes in years rather than in weeks or months?
Yes, it did start with peanuts, and then it grew itself into a bigger market. I think the Arabic content's got to find its own lead. So when we talk about dubbed content, if we was to dub something into English, that doesn't mean that we can sell to BBC. That's out of the question. They will just completely ignore us with the Turkish. The Korean today, the biggest market is Asia and Southeast Asia. And with Korean content, one of the biggest advantages they have is they bring the Korean culture all around it. So it's the K-pop, it's the K-magazine, whatever, and everything that's a huge trend with the Z generation today. So that's the culture that they're bringing and they're exploring. So if they can't get there with media, they're trying to use it with the music and everything around it. But I think the Arabic's got to find its lead. Turkish is, yes, we're slightly further out than so we're big in Middle East, Latin America, CIS, CEE, Italy, Spain, but I wouldn't say we're one of the big, the Western Europe is the biggest market for us. And dubbed content, it's correct to a point, but as I said, if we was to do a proper English dubbing today, that doesn't necessarily mean that our titles will be aired on BBC.
That's a good advice. Please go ahead.
One of the production houses has produced an English language Turkish series, and I don't think that's working either.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's about finding your way with the content you have. Maybe the Arabic will work in territories where the Turkish is currently not strong in. So it will find its own lead, but you've got to. It's a bit of a pitch and play, trial and error. So you've got to get the buyers, the viewers, to take those risks. And unfortunately, in general, all over the world, the media industry it's losing its sustainability to a point. And it's getting more difficult to get those return of investments on the ROIs and the P&Ls. So everything's becoming more difficult. And it's just about finding the correct people that would take the risk and trial and error with the Arabic.
This is good in terms of facing the challenges and obstacle of reaching out with dubbed material. My last question to the two gentlemen, if you are to give advice to Arab producers who want to have their content traveling, would you advise them to take their content to the global streamers so that they do one deal and sell the rights for the whole world and have a nice time after that, or go the longer way, which you are doing in most cases, go to each territory, different sale, different requirements, different dubbing, and go the long road?
Actually, both, because I think we need to make a distinction between the Western audience, the mature market audience, and emerging market audience. So the totally different audience, totally different sociology, and different products. So you cannot produce for Netflix 186 commercial hour shows. And there is not such a audience in Sweden, in Germany, in the UK, right? So short series, still, I think the best stage for the short series are the platforms, regardless of the territory, in the Middle East, in Asia, in Europe, or Latin America or US. But at the same time, I guess the producers, they need to make a decision which target audience they want to reach. Which type of product they want to produce. Because in any case, a TV station in Bulgaria, they won't air 30, 40 episode Turkish or Arabic shows. They might air American shows, but not Turkish. Not because we still have this. Yes, what we produce in Turkey is not a telenovela, but it still has telenovela elements.
Miroslav, if you want to answer this question, can you end with a question that I need the rest of you with a yes or no?
Yeah.
So the question, are you willing at this time, with all the development Arab content, to distribute Arab content as a company?
Yes, I believe. Just adding to Emre what Emre said, I just would like to add. Sometimes you have to sell worldwide and target because the content is like that. Sometimes you go market by market, country by country, channel by channel. But what is more important than this strategy to do it by yourself? I heard El Hayeba as the best series in the Arab world at the moment, working so good in Turkey as well, but distributing by a Turkish company.
Yeah.
My question is, why not here? Some distributors are doing this job instead of Turkey. What kind of message you are sending to the world? If you ask Turks to make sales on behalf of you, what is the message you are sending to the world? I don't believe here there is no capacities, there is no enough investment, there is not enough knowledge to do that. So what is the question? What is the problem?
That is very brave of you to say that. Thank you. Kerem, you will distribute Arab content?
No, yes, absolutely. But I mean, I would love to distribute Arabic content, but more than that, I think that there is a need for some extra touches to the whole media ecosystem that can.
That's a
big
subject.
I know, but that's a fact.
Thank you for that, Hasret.
Well, as a company, can you hear me?
Yeah.
So, as a company, going back 33 years, we used to distribute foreign content into the Turkish market. Now we do the opposite. We distribute Turkish content into the international market. I reckon a distributor is always a distributor. It would be less expensive for an already known distributor in the market to distribute various content types. So, yes, we would, and we're exploring the opportunity to do so, because as a brand, we're already there for 33 years, so we've gained that trust. For anybody to go to a TV channel and tell them, I want this Arabic title to be broadcast on your channel, and for Intermedia to go and say, can you trial with this title? There's a huge difference, because we've been working with them for so many years. And when we look at the biggest distributors today, whether it's Fifth Season or Caracol Colombia, they don't just have Latin American content, they don't just have English content. They're looking into opportunities to invest in foreign content and distributing themselves. So I don't think we should block ourselves as distributors to just one content type. Obviously, Turkish is still our baby, it's still our main source of fund. But we should be open, and now we are exploring opportunities in Europe, Latin America, and the Arabic market.
Thank you, Hasret. The final words for you, Lina. Would you trust our Turkish friends with distributing Arab content?
I'm trusting our Turkish friends with distributing our Turkish adaptations. But we have a distributor locally that is selling regionally and trying now to crack some markets in East Europe. And we have within MBC Studios a distribution arm that is working on distributing the stuff that we're producing to an international market, and we're trying to work with international distributors for that. So for the Turkish adaptations, because they know the story, and it's mainly from formats that they've sold before, then it's an easier sell. And since the scripted formats that we're taking are probably stories that are like 8 or 9 or 10 years old. So it might, if somebody likes the story, it's a more modern variation of it. So it might be easier to sell than trying to sell, for instance, the original Istanbul Gülen. You can now sell Arus Beirut that's maybe 4 years old rather than 10 years old. And the same with all the other adaptations that we've done. So
Lina, thank you. Hasret, thank you. Emre and Marislav, it's been a pleasure to have you. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you.
Thank you.